There are stories about mummies all across North America, leading many to believe that ancient Egyptians reached the continent in antiquity. One of the more intriguing legends was reported about the Grand Canyon in 1909. The Arizona Gazette ran a story about G.E. Kincaid, an explorer, traveling the Colorado River. Along his journey, he spotted a cave high above the basin. It was about 2,000 feet above the river. About 100 feet from the entrance, he found carved chambers that were not naturally occurring. On the walls were what looked like Egyptian hieroglyphics, and on large shelves, he found mummies wrapped in clay and bark fabric. All of them appeared to be men. Many say we've been lied to, that the ancient history of North America, the story of whom lived here before us, has been hidden. That tucked away at the Smithsonian or University storage room is an inconvenient and uncomfortable truth. That North America was in fact discovered way earlier than we'd been taught. And those people were not simple nomads crossing the Bering Strait. These were people that aligned structures they'd built to solstices and equinoxes from the heavens, and created artifacts that tell the story of an advanced culture. From a cave in the Grand Canyon containing mummies and writing that looks Egyptian, to a large rock in Kentucky with a petroglyph of Ra, the Egyptian sun god. Mummies found in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky that are documented and cataloged. Documentation from Indiana Geological Surveys from over 100 years ago that tell similar stories of stone tombs and ancient bodies. Various mummies found in Indiana quarries for over 200 years, and as late as 2015. And legends from old-timers passed down for generations that a cave in southern Indiana is filled with ancient mummies.
Two ancient Egyptian mummies are on permanent display in eastern Indiana's Wayne County. Sophia Salaby has more on the history of the mummies and how they're being preserved.
You have to go down the stairs at Earlham College's Joseph Moore Museum and into a display area that looks like a burial chamber to find the school's mummy. It's been on display at the museum since 1889. And according to hieroglyphics on its coffin, the mummy was a daughter of a priest who lived during the end of the Egyptian Empire.
She is very important to us and important to our history and important to our students that can look at her.
But the mummy has been in its current storage case since the 1950s, and Lewis says it's just not good enough to keep it preserved.
We really need to come up with a plan that is going to let her survive for the next 150 years.
That's where grant money from the National Endowment for the Humanities will come in. Lewis says a $4,000 grant the museum recently received will help them kickstart their conservation efforts. They plan to hire a designer to create a new case for the mummy. And just 10 minutes away, Indiana's only other Egyptian mummy is on display at the Wayne County Historical Museum. The mummy is approximately 3,000 years old, older than the Earlham College mummy by about 600 years. But museum staff knows less about it because it was buried in a coffin that belonged to somebody else.
Our guy is just an average guy like you and me, and he was going to be buried, and his family only had enough money to pay for a reused coffin.
It might be strange that the state's only mummies on display ended up in the same county, so close to each other. But Lewis says the Richmond community was prosperous, especially towards the end of the 19th century, and had the resources to buy rare artifacts like the mummies.
I think it was a community that was really curious and focused on bringing things from around the world to our town.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Sophia Salaby.
This has been a Cincinnati production. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, Links are in the description.